Well, hey there, and welcome to the Forest Park podcast that we call On Mission. My name's Luke Austin, and I serve as worship pastor. I'm very excited to welcome Richard Borgeson to the table. Richard is a son of our church when it was all the way back downtown in Mission Covenant Church, right? He is the architect that currently designed our current building, and he is also 84 years young and working very hard, leading a new team that he's going to tell us about. So, Richard, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you were telling me just last night I get confused. How many children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren? Because I was getting them all confused.
Oh, goodness. Well, I have 5 beautiful children.
Okay.
And they gave me 18 grandchildren.
Oh, my.
And on the way is a couple of great-grandchildren, which will make 26.
26.
Yes.
That is a clan.
We have a clan.
Wow. Okay. Your dad held my position, right? He was the music director for
Yes.
how long ago was that? How did he serve?
Oh, it's been quite a few years, but he directed choir here for 42 years.
Wow, that's a long
Yes.
time. He also was a composer. I know that there's lots of his music in our choir
He
library.
did a lot of composing and had his hand in designing the what would you call the pipes in the organ?
The ranks, right? Yeah, all the ranks.
There are 44 ranks, I know, and they all sound different. And he did some of the designing of what they wanted in the church organ.
Yes,
Yeah.
so cool. So you have deep ties to the Covenant Church.
Extremely.
I
I always claimed I was born in the front pew of the church downtown.
all the way back since the very beginning. You've been a Covenanter. Now you're at 84. You're finally a retired guy.
I am retired just of last April.
Retired at 80. That is amazing. And you live with your wife Mary Ann part-time in Arizona and then part-time here.
Yes.
Is that okay?
That's right. 6 months and 6 months.
6 months. Has that been just a stressful life or just absolutely wonderful?
It's been a new life.
A new life. Okay.
Something new. Being married to Sue for 58 years, and all the kids and so many grandkids. We didn't do a lot of traveling and vacationing, but over spring break, we would take the kids and go places.
Okay.
But to go an extended time, like 6 months to Arizona, it's amazing.
All right.
Yes, I've very much enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad for that.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell us about this new venture that you're leading with our building, because the building is as old as I am. I was born in 1983, and when I walk around, I look at our building, and it kind of looks like how I feel. I'm in pretty good shape, but there are parts that are fading and sagging and popping or don't quite work right. So tell us about the work that you and this architecture and remodeling team have been doing for the past couple of months.
Well, this has been an exciting time. It actually started 10 years ago when we had a group that did all the investigations of what the church needed for the next 10 years, always in advance we look at. And they came up with quite some wonderful programs. So now we have put together a new team of 9 plus 2 of you pastors,
right.
Of 11, and it's been quite exciting. We've added young people, and to hear the young things that we need has been really, really good. But we have been investigating 4 major areas of the church.
Okay.
The one is fairly new. It was so exciting to worship outdoors this past summer.
Yes.
And the people have said, this has been wonderful. Can we do it again? That's one thing COVID has done that has been positive.
Sure.
So we've taken a good look at it, and we've kind of put together a program where we will have a permanent outdoor stage area covered.
Very cool.
And it'll be really, really nice. And I've been working with yourself for the instrumentation, and then with Jeff and all the TV and camera coverages.
All that technology stuff that we
and
rely
what we
on
can
now.
do out there, and just make it a real pleasant experience for the people. And we've even heard the story of people running through our parking lot in the summer, and what's going on?
Yes.
And oh my goodness, church. And a few minutes later came back with their family.
Yeah, they show up.
It's more than just an experience for us. It's a real tool for reaching people to Christ.
Yes.
It's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so that was one area. One was a full outdoor worship area. So what's the next thing that y'all are looking at?
Now, in no priority, we have 3 more fairly distinct things. Let's start with the sanctuary.
Okay.
The sanctuary, as we talk, it's 30-some years old, and it's 50 years. What are we, 83?
38.
38
yes,
years. Yeah. And it is in need of some updating.
Mm-hmm.
In visiting other churches, we have found that the theater-type seating is very exciting about it. And we can actually get more people seated on the main floor.
That's
using
exciting.
That. We'll look at new interior decorating with the brick and the carpeting. We may redo the chancel area. Make it a little larger so you have a better space for your instrumentation.
Okay.
And we've just understood from your meeting with the organ people that there's a possibility that we need to redo our organ somewhat. Mm-hmm. Maybe a new chancel, whatever it is.
Little console.
The
right.
console. Yeah. And high tech, instead of a 3-inch bundle of wires going to
it's just amazing.
Fiber optic of some kind that you have. And it could be moved. We can move it around and slide it into the center of the stage, the chancel area, and have organ concerts.
Yes.
And those things are very exciting.
I know Nick would love that, to be able to be right dead center so he could hear, where he's stuck behind there with.
Yes. And then, of course, looking at new lighting, going to the new LEDs, which is a better kind of lighting. Mm-hmm. We can change the color of the lighting very nicely.
Ooh,
and we can save a lot of money.
Yes, very interested in doing that.
A lot of wattage, yes.
All right, so total sanctuary update. What else are you looking at?
Well, then another fairly new concept in churches, of course, is coffee bar.
Yes, please.
And we have this outdoor atrium, the triangle just outside of Fellowship Hall. Mm-hmm. And we are looking at roofing that over with some beautiful pyramid sky domes.
All right.
And then have a nice coffee bar in there, and take out the sliding doors and opening it up, maybe several 12-foot openings. So it becomes kind of it's a separate space, but it can be a common space with the fellowship hall and can really be nice.
Wonderful.
The coffee bar. Let me just mention a few things that
Go
we've
into
heard
incredible detail about the coffee bar.
Other pastors that have had it. Some people are really intimidated about coming to the church and walking into a sanctuary. However, they will come in and sit and have a cup of coffee in a coffee bar with TV screens and watch the service.
Okay.
A few weeks of that, and they become a little more comfortable. The pastors we've talked to stated that it takes 4 to 6 weeks, and people become comfortable enough that they now enter the sanctuary. So that in itself is quite a tool for looking to people to accept Christ.
Well, that was another reason I wanted to ask you, why do we need an update? What is the importance of a building and the way that, in your mind, how the mission of the church functions with just a building?
Everything changes. We have found that churches that don't change go downhill and they begin to die.
Okay.
So we have to keep updating all the time for the younger generation. We old people, sure, we love our old hymns of the church and the organ playing.
Right.
But the children, they like your guitar, and they like the upgrades and the new songs and so forth. And we have to be able to accept that and move on. And I think it's wonderful. I love seeing the younger people in there, and even if they're standing in a pew dancing a little with the songs and so. Well, I have to admit, I have stood and with my hands kind of done the drums on the pew ahead of me a little bit. I get excited about the rhythm.
Good, I'm glad.
But it's a wonderful thing, and changes in everything are needed, and also in a church setting.
So it's more about setting up the future generation so that they feel a warm welcome.
Exactly.
So that the gospel will be really clear and evident, and we're not thinking, oh, what's up with this building here?
And that's one thing the theater seats do too.
Great.
Churchy pews, they were great. But if we go to theater seating, it's a little warmer, a little more accepting today.
Okay.
And we can seat more people. Because when you have pews, nobody sits real close together too much, and the pew people say 80% occupancy in a pew. Okay. Where you put a theater seat in, you can have 100%.
Line them right up.
You can, and it becomes wonderful. Yes.
All right, well, what's the next big thing in there? So we've got the outdoor worship, we've got the sanctuary renovation. What's another big area?
The coffee bar,
and now
the big one.
Forget the coffee bar.
is the vestibule or narthex, or what kind of a term we want to give it. It's moving the front of the church all the way out to our front driveway.
Ooh, all right.
It is going out a long way, and it's going to get a very nice, welcoming space. It's something we really need. We need a little more private area between the main entrance and the sanctuary itself. And our present narthex could be that breathing part. Excuse me. So the new narthex will be moved actually beyond the outdoor stone, if you can picture that.
It's difficult too, but yeah, I like it.
Yes. And then beyond that would be the covered portico for cars to come underneath in inclement weather, let people off in the rain, and they can come in. And maybe we'll have a valet service and park your car.
You can wear a bow tie.
Yes. And just in our meeting last night, they talked about the island area beyond the driveway where the pine trees are, and making that
covenant,
a little bit more park-like. So we're taking a look at moving kind of a patio beyond the driveway that might extend another 15, 20 feet and 24 feet wide.
Wow.
I went home and sketched a little bit, and I've picked out a few benches that we can put, and people can sit and wait for their rides to come.
I like that.
And the two benches were pulled apart enough to put our old cornerstone, the Evangelical Mission Covenant Church.
Oh, very nice.
Church.
I like it.
So we can put that cornerstone, because we'd love to save that. And then the rest of it would be grass. We would have to take the large pine trees out, but they are a little messy, and they are dripping on our cars.
Right.
And, but we'll keep the beautiful birch tree and have some more landscaping and a little more grass.
It sounds like y'all are just dreaming about everything. Like everything is on the table,
everything.
And we're just...
Even talking to you, I get so excited.
I get eager and excited about it too. I love the idea of extending our front. It seems like right towards Henry Street. So we're just literally saying, open arms, community, come on in.
Yes, and that'll be an inviting space. We'll have a reception area there. And we're even looking at possibly type of a little bookstore that we can have where people could purchase things, and just a good, warm, welcoming space for people to come into and feel comfortable.
Well, it's just a wonderful and exciting venture to think about updating our building. I know everybody's going to want to ask, is there a timeline where you're going to maybe present this to the lead team and then to the congregation? Do you have any of that mapped out yet?
That's very important. We hope to have a program set up in the next month or so that we will present to the lead team.
Okay.
And they can review it. Now, I want to make this, this is very important. All the things that we are doing is a concept that we have come up with, recommendations to the congregation.
Okay.
We are still congregational led. So what we hope to do is to take this presentation, invite the entire congregation in, give the presentation, and then may take 2-3 weeks and let the people absorb what we've come up with, talk about it, reflect back to the group and so forth, and then at a later date, they can take a look at each of these little things that we've come up with and make their decision. Now, one thing, if we do the outdoor theater, it has nothing to do with the sanctuary. We can do the sanctuary. It doesn't interrupt the portico out in front, the vestibule, the coffee bar. We can do that individually. We can build the coffee bar individually.
Okay.
And it makes no reflection on what happens in the sanctuary.
So it can all be done in phases.
Each one can be done in phases. And we could have 4 nice phases. Should work out very well.
I thank you just so much for your leadership. I can't wait for that congregational meeting when we all get to dream. And you have led this group so well. All of input, everything is hands like this with Richard. I've really appreciated that attitude of you haven't been like, no, not this, not this. And I know that's going to be the way that congregational meeting is going to go well. So just really appreciate that. Thank you for having such a heart for mission, for the glorifying of Christ here in our community. We're inspired by your life and example. So can't wait. So stay tuned with Richard for the architecture and remodeling team and what you'll have next.
Thank you, Luke.
All right.
And folks, keep praying.
Yes.